said based on them telling the story in Spanish, it was more clear, because the family had originally said that these beings were coming in and out. Based on the words that they used in Spanish, it seemed that they were materializing and dematerializing.
Insider Richard Doty explains what really happened during the Las Vegas UFO incident in May.
Okay guys, so I just heard some exclusive information about the Vegas sighting. I don't even know if I'm supposed to share it. You remember when the body cam saw this?
Like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, so earlier today, I attended an online event through Portal to Ascension, and in the chat, people kept saying, tell us what you know about the Vegas sighting.
So these people all right here in this Portal of Ascension, this is Emery Smith at the top left, this is David Adair, Richard Doty, and then behind her is actually Tim. I think he's like a European intelligence type guy. So they basically are all on Gaia TV, and they are all whistleblowers. Richard Doty worked for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, and basically reported to the CIA any investigations as far as UFOs were concerned, and it was all classified material. He was basically a counterintelligence officer. Okay, so his main purpose was to deter ufologists from exploring information about certain scenarios that happen. That way it wouldn't get into the mainstream vein. David Adair is a rocket scientist and developed a electromagnetic fusion containment engine system that basically combines hydrogen and helium in a infinity formation, and the harnessment of that energy that's created creates basically a free energy type device like the sun. And so he's a prodigy. He basically was doing this when he was like 16, 17 years old. Goes to Area 51, and I could go through his whole story, but it would take me like an hour to explain that. Basically, they want him to build a rocket for him, and I'm just going to keep this super short. He gets involved with this ex-Nazi that came over here during Operation Paperclip, and he has to build a rocket for them. He builds this rocket, realizes what they want the rocket for. They show him, they take him under a base under Area 51, take him down a huge long cavern, and they're like a mile under the surface at this point. And they go into a bunch of hangars that they are protected by like an optical, and this is in the 80s. It's a huge optical eye scanner, and then a finger bone scanner, which is what they use because each person's phalange bones are different lengths, sizes, and widths. So they scan in, and then behind a giant curtain is this huge electromagnetic fusion containment engine that they recovered or shot down from a craft that's like billions of years old, literally billions of years old. And that's just his story. He hears people talking about First Strike, which is a military agenda that in MAD, which is Mutually Assured Destruction. Basically, First Strike and MAD kind of go hand in hand. Mutually Assured Destruction is where if they'll nuke us, let's say the Russians, then we have to nuke them first, and we have to hit them so hard that they can't retaliate against us. That's basically how First Strike and Mutually Assured Destruction go hand in hand. It's basically like a nuclear deterrent that states, if you bomb us or nuke us, then we will hit you so hard that you won't even be able to retaliate, and you will be wiped out before you can even strike us. That's what they need the speed for. They wanted his rocket to go his rocket could go thousands of miles an hour, like right now. Like, it was so fast. And so basically he gets recruited in these programs, and then he helps do the maybe he helps develop an aircraft, maybe like the F-14 or something like that. And yeah, that's basically what his main story was. Emery Smith was a biologist. He basically did tissue samples in these classified projects under Sandia Laboratories, which is under Kirtland Air Force Base, and in like a secret lab. And I just wanted to give you like a little bit about who all those people were. Tim, the tactician guy, he's kind of like, I don't know if I truly like him that much, or if his information is that valid, but I don't know. I haven't really dug too much into him. he's basically similar to like an intelligence officer that works in like the European sector. So that's pretty much what I know about that guy.
So Richard Doty decided to answer the question. Now, Doty used to be a counterintelligence officer, which translates to disinformation agent. And since retiring, has come forward and said he thinks it's time for people to know the truth. So take it or leave it. I never covered this Vegas sighting because I don't know how to feel about it, but I have to tell you what he said. Okay, so he claims that their next door neighbor has 2 photos of the creature climbing over the fence, but that the neighbor got so scared that they almost destroyed the whole phone. When the neighbor was interviewed by officials, he wanted to destroy the phone because he thought that the creature was mad at him for taking a picture and was going to come after him. He also suggested that people much higher up than the local law enforcement came to interview the family, and that they made sure that they had bilingual people there so that they would be able to communicate the story in Spanish.
Yeah, there were blacked out SUVs seen all over the site during that. I made a video on that if you want to check that out. That's from last month. It's from the News Nation, or the Las Vegas news website there. And yeah, it's a crazy story. UFOs landed in this backyard, and then they were 8 to 9 foot tall. They called the cops, and then yada yada yada. It's a whole thing. They have it on video as well. And this is kind of what the story is talking about.
Spanish. Now, Doty said based on them telling the story in Spanish, it was more clear because the family had originally said that these beings were coming in and out. Based on the words that they used in Spanish, it seemed that they were materializing and dematerializing. He also said that on July 4th, said that there was a FISA application submitted for everyone's phones in the neighborhood. And he also said that government officials came and installed cameras on the property. Now, I wanted to see if I would be able to verify any of this information. And here is a photo of the camera on the house. Now, this photo belongs to Doug Papa. Doug Papa is an investigative journalist who actually interviewed the family before the news broke. And according to him, on May 19th, mind you, this story did not come out until mid-June. On May 19th, cameras were installed on their property. The Tech and Surveillance Squad of Homeland Security arrived at their home, and they told the family that they have already spoken to the owners of the property and that they were installing these cameras for their protection. However, these cameras were removed on May 27th, nearly 2 weeks before the media frenzy that they needed protection from. Now, the question is, why did they allow the family to see them and possibly allow themselves to be photographed? But speaking of Vegas and UFOs, check out Stairway to the Stars this November in Vegas, where I'm going to be giving a lecture. I'm so excited. Also, all your favorites, Elizabeth April, Jason Shurka.
Okay, that was great. Cool. Yeah, so that's basically a little bit about that, a little bit of insider info about the Richard Doty and his connection to that. That's pretty cool stuff, guys. It was a very public, and then the people that were supposed to be talking about it, they like in their that landed in their backyard, they actually stopped reaching out to the news and basically seized all contact with the news stations and whatnot. So that actually proves a little more validity to the whole situation in regards to whether it was real or it was fake, because if it was so fake, then why would those people just stop talking about it so randomly after these blacked out SUVs come rolling in the neighborhood, install cameras and whatnot? And so, yeah, I just thought that was a cool interview, a little thing to show you guys. And make sure to watch this interview video that YouTube recommends to you next. Thanks.